Hello and welcome to episode 106 of the DaebakCast. This is a weekly podcast where the three of us come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. As you can see, I'm at Andrew's house right now. I had to go to the Korean consulate in New York City, and his family is graciously hosting me. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Anyways, as always, I'm joined by Nate.
Preface, it hurts to say this out loud. Saucin' on 'em like chili. Drip, drip, our chili sauce.
Yes. Amazing. That is...
It's a front runner for 2020 English lyrics.
God,
2019 English lyrics of the year.
That just breaks my brain, just thinking about English or friggin' 2020. Anything 2020 at this point is just so far out of my mind at this point.
Only a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
2020 Truly Daebak Awards. Chili English lyrics of the year.
So many
It's as bad as cream.
Yeah, it's also I'd say it's also as
it's
bad
up
as
there.
regular.
No, but the queso's like good though.
It's
like,
not
funny.
a good lyric at all.
It's
that's
funny,
an awesome lyric.
But
That's
like
the only
this
good
is
lyric in
just
that
like
song.
overly
so bad.
sexually bad.
Okay, anyways. Also, as always, I'm joined by Andrew in person.
They can't see your hand. He's pointing at me because I have three
In
things.
person.
Number one, complete shock to me. Complete shock, in all honesty. The Patriots are making their third straight Super Bowl. Holy shit. I did not expect this at all. Again, I think at the beginning of football season, I was like, yeah, I don't think the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl. Or when we were talking about playoffs, I was like, yeah, I don't think the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl. But lo and behold, they made like incredible comeback on the road at Kansas City, and they're going to be facing the LA Rams in Atlanta for Super Bowl 53. Now, that's not what I want to talk about mostly here. What I do want to talk about is, so Maroon 5 is the halftime, or the artist for the halftime show. So it's Maroon 5 and special guests Big Boy and Travis Scott. So like they need an Atlanta rapper. So, and Travis Scott's just super on fire right now with Sicko Mode. So there was a petition started by like the internet. After Steven Hillenburg died, there was a petition to get them to sing the song "Sweet Victory" from SpongeBob at the Super Bowl halftime show.
They need to do it.
And this petition got really popular, and apparently, so Maroon 5 put out like a teaser video, and like in the teaser video, there's just like this really quick clip of SpongeBob that shows up, so maybe they might be doing Sweet Victory at the halftime show.
If Maroon 5 sings that, that'll be the greatest thing.
That's the greatest moment in like Super Bowl history ever. It's not even like sports anything, just like them doing. There's actually a prop bet on. It's like there's 4-1 odds on SpongeBob showing up at the halftime show. So if you'll make $100 profit or something like that. I forget how odds work, but there's also I think there's a lot of funny prop bets. There's another prop bet that whether or not Mark Wahlberg will attend the Super Bowl, and whether or not he leaves before the game is over, because that happened because
if like the Patriots start to lose.
Yeah, because that was happening last time when they won the Super Bowl against the Falcons and they were getting blown out 28-3. He left the game, and then they ended up before they made the comeback. So that's why there's a prop bet. The prop bets are amazing. I mean, I don't bet or whatever. It's just incredible to see, and I can't wait for the Super Bowl. Honestly, it's even if they don't win, it's just always a cool experience. Number two, as Jacob mentioned before, he got his visa, or he's going to get his visa. So again, like you're literally like less than a month out from going to Korea now. Because
exactly a month.
Oh, exactly a month! Wow. Yeah. So exactly a month, you're gonna be halfway across the world.
Exactly a month is when I get on the plane.
Oh God, I don't know. That's gonna be weird. Yeah, that's exciting. He has to come back next Friday, because he has to pick up his visa.
Yep. Because for whatever reason they can't mail it. Apparently I had to pay for that ahead of time, but
whoops,
I didn't see that anywhere online. So whatever.
And number three, I ended up chasing my number three, but I wanted to just put it out here. We did a Discord fan, or like not really for the Truly Daebak Awards. We had a guessing game, and we had all this sort of stuff where like whoever guessed the most correctly for the Truly Daebak Awards and the Truly Daebak Fan Choice Awards will win a prize. And the winner was Sam, surprisingly, because she had like the worst. she had like the worst score on day one, and then she just came back all the way to be number one or win the, at least this section. We're recording this before we do the live show, so I don't know who won the TDA fan choice, but we'll figure that out. And I guess I wanted to advertise Discord because one, it's mucho lit, and two, like we do a lot of fun stuff. Like this weekend is WrestleMania. This weekend is Royal Rumble, so me, Stu, and Mighty Egg Girl are doing like predictions for the card and like who's gonna win, who's gonna come out in the Royal Rumble match and that sort of thing. So yeah, there's fun stuff. It's not just K-pop, but I mean it's obviously mostly K-pop. But yeah, as always, like Discord's like the best place to reach us. So if you really do want to get in contact with us immediately, join the Mucho Lit Discord.
Yes.
Also, Jade's a loser.
Oh no!
She lost.
Oh no! She only got like 8 right, didn't she?
Yeah, 8 out of 35.
What's funny is she was the closest one to guessing our artist of the year.
Yep.
But she still didn't.
Whoops.
She also apparently lost the other predictions they did. Was it Mama? I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah. They did Mama predictions or something like that. So.
I think she said she lost that one too.
Whoops.
So.
And those are my 3 things.
All right. And I'm Jacob, hashtag no blow note because I'm not at home. So yeah,
And
not like I'd bring it out
home,
anyways.
It would still be no blow note.
Yep, hashtag no blow note. All right, without further ado, our first topic is a album review of 17's You Made My Dong EP.
You made my dong, not you made my dong. People that are fans of 17 are just so mad at us. It's like, why are you making fun of the title? It's beautiful. Nate, I guess you'll be the one reading this off.
Am I? Okay.
I don't know. There's no like 17 stan among us, so just I don't know. We just default to you.
I have all their music, so
I think Cooper is the only 17 like Stan.
Stan.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Starting off with Good to Me. For me, I really like the intro with like the bells and nothing else. And that line, that like bell line, is used throughout the song. That I really like that line. Overall, it's just like a typical R&B beat. It's nothing like too special. But in the vocals are really good, especially in the pre-chorus with the falsetto. That was the one thing that like really stood out to me. But it's okay.
Yeah, I guess to follow up on those sentiments, actually, this probably is my favorite of the album tracks. Oh, yeah, because I feel like, again, the instrumental is what sells this track to me. Just like, I feel like because normally with K-pop, you can kind of tell when something's a single and when something's an album track. Like, it feels like they don't try as hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, I can't really quantify it because, like, there's some, but this is one of the rare cases where I feel like it's it's an album track that sounds as good as, or it sounds like it would make a great single. So maybe that's why I liked it, just because it feels like they put a lot of thought into it. Also, another thing I like is most of this album is produced by the member Woozy, and then it's also produced by Bumju, who usually does most of 17's production. So they did a really good job on this one, especially. Again, it's that instrumental that sold it to me. Again, I really wish this had a choreo and like a music video and everything, because I feel like it'd be that good of a song. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I really loved about it, is the instrumental really feeds into the type of like R&B, like hip hop style song that this is, especially when it kicks into the chorus. Just the instrumental really like adds on to like this, I guess, like the loud nature of the vocals, like the you're my everything, just like it really fits in with it so well. So it was a great way to start off the album, definitely.
Yep. So for me, the song's like, my first impression of it was it strikes me as being very like EXO style to me. I feel like
that's probably why I like it.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
now that I think about
like
it,
it's very similar to like like something off of maybe like The War, I think, is the album that I'd see this song on. And yeah, the chorus especially stands out to me. It's really punchy and impactful, and again, that's one of the things I definitely look forward to with chorus. Like 17's like older music, usually like the chorus would be like very, again, like punchy, impactful, and very I don't know, just in your face. Like I'll talk about it later in a different song, but like I just like that there's actually a strong chorus and it's not just a beat drop that kind of fills the place of that.
Yeah, which we will get to later.
Yeah,
in terms of grapes.
This one probably would be my favorite song if it weren't for a different one, which we'll get to later. So
Next we have Home, which is the single on the album. I really like the minimalist nature of the beginning with like just the siren building up and then like the piano and the harmonies come in and it keeps building. And then you get to what you expect is a drop chorus, and it's an anti-drop, which is awesome. Because then later on you do get that drop. But because of the anti-drop, like it's less expected. And yeah, I just overall I like how the song plays with your expectations a lot. It definitely stood out to me for that, and I really like it as a single. I think it was the best choice for a single on this album. For the music video and stuff, I think it's got a nice aesthetic, but it's nothing like super like impressive. They didn't do anything like crazy with it. And obviously 17's choreography is fantastic, so you kind of expect it from them.
I don't know. This is probably the only song that I just didn't like at all, in all honesty, just because I feel like anti-drops is such a cliche at this point. It's super overplayed, especially, again, Jacob's usually the one that like really hates anything that's like a chain smokery type drop sort of thing, and you usually like I'm not as averse to it, but in this case it just kind of felt like with how empty the song feels, going with an like that sort of empty first drop seems pointless. It just sounds like it just makes the song like, I know that it gets to like the "'cause I'm your home like that, well, that part it definitely fills in a bit more, but when you consider that only takes up like 15 seconds, 20 seconds of the entire song, and most of it's just barely any instrumental. Like, the song just seems way too empty. And I know it's a purposeful like aesthetic, or it's a design choice on their part, but I don't know, it just felt like that empty drop kind of ruined the song for me. Yeah, it just, and maybe just in comparison to, again, we'll get to Getting Closer, but that single came out first, or the music video came out first, and I feel like it was such a huge step back in comparison, or this song, or Home, was such a huge step back compared to that, and just in all three phases, like, this has, again, it's an interesting music video, like, aesthetically, but it's not really anything, like, groundbreaking on their part. The choreography, it's alright, but again, it doesn't, this type of song, I guess you can't really do anything overly complex with choreography. And again, I feel like the song is, I know what they're going for. I definitely know what they're going for in this song. They're trying to get that ugo shipshi ana, like that sort of, they're trying to get that again. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel like, it just feels like a carbon copy in some way. It doesn't really feel iterative of that sort of like stylistic change that they made over the past year or two. So yeah, that's why it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, so for me, I pretty much like echo that similarly. Like, so, but first I'd like to go through like the positives that I did like about the song. Like, I actually thought it was a really interesting choice to use like synth, like marimbas as kind of like the main, I guess, like spectacle within the instrumentals. At least it kind of sounded that way to me. I don't know if it's actually a marimba or what, but yeah. And I also thought the soft vocals in the instrumental are nice. Like, they convey kind of like a like nostalgic or like uplifting sort of tone, which I thought was really good, and it goes along pretty well with the, like, I guess, theme of home,
I guess.
Like, that's without looking up the lyrics or anything. That's basically just my interpretation of like the emotion behind the vocals and whatnot. So that all being said, like, I still wasn't super crazy about this song. Like the anti-drop, like, for me, like, I was expecting it to at least go into something that like hits really hard, but it kind of just like, it's like what I talk about sometimes, like Steve Aoki, like it goes like, up, and then it's just there. It just does nothing. Which, again, some people like it, some people don't. I've been seeing a lot of people like hate on the song, but a lot of people really, really love it.
Yeah, so, it definitely seems very divisive in that sort, or just like it's one way or another.
Yeah, so basically, I think it just comes down to your taste. And finally, like, in the actual like main chorus with the, I'm just so tired of the chain smoker drop thing. Like, I feel like I'm kind of just beating a dead horse at this point with it, but like they've been doing the same like sort of thing for 2 years now. I want to see some progression, because like even early 17, like a lot of the stuff was similar, like between like Monse to Agju Nice to what was that song called, Boom, I don't know, something like that, but like they're similar, but it felt like they were making steps forward, whereas here I just feel like they're kind of just staying in the same spot. That being said, I will give them credit for like a lot of the songs like Clap and stuff like that. I thought that was, you know, really interesting and new for them, but I don't know, I feel like this is just a step backwards for me.
Yeah, I think the problem is that they tend to be safe on the singles, but it's funny because it's counteracted by how experimental because it seems like that's the thing, their modus operandi, like now, where everything they do is just going to be a bunch of like a single and then a bunch of like subunit songs, like it's the case on this album, and it feels like I kind of wish that like it doesn't have to be either or. You don't have to play it safe on the singles or like the subunit songs. I think you can sort of like push for both, because at this point it doesn't break any new ground, and for them to make it the lead single is just I guess that's what 17 fans like. Obviously, it's just at this point, it's just, I'm bored of it. I'm just really bored of it, which is again in stark contrast to what I thought about the rest of the album. But we'll get there.
Yeah. Next we have Hug, which is an acoustic ballad. And obviously showcase their amazing vocal talent. I really, really like the guitar part. It's really simple, but like beautiful. I think it fits the song really well. And the fact that there's an absence of any other instruments and any percussion or beat at all. So yeah, this was probably my favorite album track, but I think I like the single better. I think it's my favorite song. So
yeah, this was an incredible ballad. Again, it's like overly emotional ballad tracks isn't kind of 17's forte, which is why I like that they're doing this, because again, I love that they're like, the reason why they do subunits is because they're all able to do like a separate thing. Like there's a subunit for vocals, there's a subunit for hip hop, there's a subunit for like performance team, which is like more of the experimental EDM type stuff. So I love that they sort of, again, I love that they sort of get to go dip their toe into each of those things. But what I'd wish is that they'd bring those features, or what they bring, or what they sort of get out of those subunit songs into the actual singles. Because for the most part, I enjoyed all of the subunit songs, and this one it gets to showcase the vocals. It's very just absent. It's a case where I'm not expecting like an incredible drop sort of thing to come out of a ballad track that just only has an electric guitar in the background. But yeah, I really enjoyed this song, especially because again, I always love a change of pace or just something new out of a group like this. So
yeah, so this was another song that I actually liked out of the album tracks. And honestly, I feel like it gives good to you, or good to me. Yeah, good to me. It gives Good to Me a pretty like good run for its money, in my opinion. Like, just because I feel like it was just such a good ballad. Because I don't know, I when I first started, I was like, oh boy, it's just a ballad. But like as soon as like the vocals actually kicked in, I was like, I felt the proper amount of emotion to act like I guess like emotional like projection, I guess, in their voice, that I was actually able to I guess like enjoy it quite a bit, even though I guess like instrumentally and like melodically and stuff like that, I don't think it's super special.
Yeah, it's very simple.
I think it's just like 17's actual vocals themselves are what like stood out so much in this.
Next we have Chili.
Yay!
I think like overall it's just like super stereotypical like hip hop song. The only thing I liked about it really was the like Eastern style instrumentals that they use occasionally. There's just like one line that they use a couple times that are like very Eastern music like influenced, traditional music influenced. But yeah, overall it's just like stereotypical trap hip hop song that wasn't very good.
Example. Again, I'm normally like right with you on that when it comes to these like just cringy kind of songs. But the thing is, though, like they're not serious when they're doing this, right? Like there's an element of self-awareness when they're doing this. They call the song fucking chili, for God Christ's sake. They're talking about dripping chili sauce on something, which is incredibly sexual for whatever reason. I don't know why, but like that's why it's the same reason why I love like Anpanman, that sort of thing. It's like because boy groups are usually super like serious and super emotional. Like, oh my God, everyone has to be like super like they have to like, I don't know, just super sexy in that sort of way. Which is why I love when when these serious groups do these like almost parody style trap songs in that sort of way, because it helps break them out of the mold or just something different for them. And they definitely have to. They're allowed to have a lot more fun with it than they normally would, in that sort of way. Because again, that's why I love Anpanman. Because again, they're just always trapped in that sort of like, oh, you have to be serious, you have to be this sort of way, and then they just seem like they have way more fun when they get to make these songs. So that's why I don't hate Chili. I love, if anything, I love it more just for the fact that they're able to be that silly, or that able to be that like self-aware about like humor involved in these type of trap songs. So
yeah, I think my counterpoint to that is I wish they would just do it with better songs, because the song's just not very good. I said the same thing. Like,
all right, so
but yeah,
basically I'll get into my thoughts. They pretty much echo what Nate just said. Like, the first thing I wrote was like, this song is definitely a joke, so I'll try to keep that in mind. But I was like, however, I just still can't get behind like songs like this or Anpanman, because like other groups, like for example like Mamamoo, for example, are able to make gag songs without it sounding like crap, you know? Like, I don't know, I'm really not into the like the cringy like bad hip-hop, I guess. Like, the lyrics combined with the autotune are just a little too much for me. Like, so personally it's a miss, but I did find it funny.
Yeah,
so it at least completed its goal, I guess. But
yeah, that's all I'm looking for in songs like these.
No,
I'm gonna listen to it all the time. You kidding me?
Exactly.
This is 17's Anpanman essentially. So
that's 17's Cream. It's the male version of Cream.
No, it's Cream and Chili.
Yeah. Chili and cream.
Maybe that's why Nate doesn't like it, just because of the sexual connotations of freaking chili sauce.
Chili and cream.
No, I
ice
just
cream.
It's basically what Jacob said. Like, there are ways to do funny songs well, like Mamamoo, and I'll
like
listen to those.
But the thing is, though, like,
again.
but the thing is, though,
I don't want to
doesn't
listen to this song ever again.
Yeah, but 1 centimeter taller than you is like basically the real Slim Shady remade.
Yeah, but
that was
again,
awesome.
But that's the thing, though, because you guys normally don't like trap beats, so no matter what type of trap song they're gonna do, it's not gonna sound good. Like
it's just not my kind of music.
That's the thing.
Yeah, even if it wasn't.
That's the thing. I love corny trap beats or trap songs like this. So
I can't.
It's in my wheel. It's up my wheelhouse. So
yeah. Next we have for this I like the intensity of the chorus, so like the driving beat and the siren, and then like the more chill verses. Like I just thought it was a really good dichotomy. So this one definitely stood out to me for the album tracks.
So this is from the performance team who made that amazing like their last thing, and we didn't end up covering their last album, unfortunately, but when the last time we covered 17, they made an incredible song called Lily Yabai or whatever it was called. The one in front of the one in the
Lily Mambo.
Yeah, the one that they did in New York.
Yeah.
So yes, performance team might actually be my favorite of the subunits, but I do enjoy this song. That being said, I felt like I wish the chorus could have just been more interesting than shh, whisper. I know that's kind of like I guess that's kind of the theming of it, but there's just this incredible like future bass like instrumental going on throughout the rest of the song, and they kind of drop that in favor of like this like sort of sexy house type thing. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that they're going for, but I felt like it could have been a bit more interesting lyrically than just them doing like whisper and again, that might just be a problem I have with like how they approach choruses, because again, like Home has the 'cause I'm your home, it's sort of the same sort of thing where they just they're not really writing like actual sentences for the chorus. It's just sort of repeated phrases and vocalizations in that sort of way. But I still do enjoy the song, obviously.
Yeah, so for me, like on first listen, the song was kind of meh, but it's definitely grown on me quite a bit. Like after having some time with it, I listened to the album twice on the train today, and then earlier on the train back here to Andrew's house. And yeah, I think the main part I just don't like is I think the rapping in this is kind of like just generic and not very memorable. Whereas I feel like for me, what saved the song was like the singing portions were super like hype and energetic and stuff like that. So yeah, overall I like the song, but like to begin with, it's, you know, it wasn't like my favorite thing. So I guess like if I was gonna go on Andrew's like 0 or 1 scale, I'd probably give it like a 0.5.
And finally we have Getting Closer, which we've talked about 3 times now. Because we talked about it for Mama performance when they revealed it. Then we talked about it on releases. Yep. And now we're going to talk about it for a 3rd time. So I didn't really write too much, but yeah, just I enjoyed their take on the NCT 127 song and it's a much better hip hop style song than Chili.
Well, but
were my notes.
It's not even, this isn't even the same type of hip hop song as
yeah, exactly.
Chili, though.
Which is why it's better.
I mean, I think what shocked me the most about listening to, because I haven't listened to it since we covered it on releases list, but what shocked me when we were listening to it for this album is how much it actually grew on me since we first heard it at Mama. Because like I was like, oh, this is good, but then when I kept listening to it again, I was like, yo, this is actually really good. Just again, it's a new direction. It blows home out of the water.
Yep.
I think I feel like the expectations of getting closer set just made home like really hard to follow up on that. I think what sells this video or this song for me is again the choreography element to it. Like this is an incredible choreography if you watch the video. Like it's one of those things I think it's married to the choreography, and the video is almost exclusively a choreography like dance music video, which I always enjoy. I think another thing I started noticing is both between this and Home, there's a lot of like woozy showing up, which actually was really interesting. I don't know, just like my bias in 17 has usually been Vernon, but I feel like Woozy's kind of stealing that right now, just because he does a lot of the music and everything. He's showing up in he's the center for a lot of the dance portions and everything. He obviously stands out because he's short as hell. But yeah, this actually might be my favorite 17 song, in all honesty. Like it might have overtaken like Adu Nice or or Monse. Like it's really good, and it's what I want to see from them going forward, in all honesty, just because it feels like it's such a breath of fresh air after sort of feeling like 17 was a bit stagnant for a while. But it's definitely the saving grace or like the highlight of this album, in all honesty. Even after having heard it multiple times already, it's still that good. It's still that good for me.
Yeah, so for me, like when I was listening to this on the train, I forgot the title of this song. I was like, wait, I've heard this song before. Like I just forgot it existed, kind of thing. And I was like, oh yeah, I was on Mama when I was talking to Andrew on the train back earlier. But yeah, like for me, I think overall this is probably the best song on the album for me. Like there's no generic Chainsmokers ripoff drops. There's no cringy rapping. Like it's just a nice, really hype party song. So yeah, and also I really like the drop into like the chanting like chorus. It really like sells like the, I guess in my words, like high impactness of the chorus.
Yeah, and just something I remember, just like again, the high impactness of the chorus. Again, a lot of the problem I have with when boy groups make really hype songs is that the choreography doesn't end up matching that. But this is incredible, like the da 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 that portion, like the choreography for that, they're just like doing all this stuff like going in and out. Again, they're taking advantage of the fact there's like 13 freaking members in 17, and again that's their biggest strength is when they do these hype songs that get to utilize all like how many members they have in the group. Is it it's easily like it's their shining moment. Obviously, it's what makes 17 17, and that's what I'm looking for ultimately. It's what separates you as a group from the rest of the hundreds of other boy groups, and that's 17's. That's their stick. So I hope that they continue to evolve and like iterate upon this.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely more the direction I'd like to see them go. Not completely in like exactly like the NCT or Monsta X direction, but like I guess trying to find like a happy medium.
Yep.
And I think really like where they were going with Clap, I think that's the right direction to go in. I guess again, like I guess Stray Kids is also kind of doing something like that with like rock and hip hop and stuff, but 17's like with Clap with Clap at least I think it was like unique enough that if they're going in that sort of direction and iterate upon that, I think it would be interesting to me at least. So.
I think it's just the genre or the style of song that appeals to us more because like when it comes to again we're mostly like 90% of our sort of or it feels like maybe actually no it's changing ever since we started truly Daebak honestly but it feels like so like 60% of our focus is girl groups with like 40% boy groups but what we look for a lot in boy groups it seems like as a collective sort of thing is we love like hype boy groups like Monsta X or Stray Kids like that style of music seems to really appeal to us so when 17 puts out something like Home like it's not I guess it just doesn't particularly fill that sort of like need that we're looking for when it comes to boy groups in that sort of way.
Yeah, I could definitely see
I like
that.
it. I still like this type of 17.
At least somebody likes it, so
it seems to be like more popular.
I don't like it nearly as much as Aiden, so who streamed it like 460 times.
I don't know.
Wait, are you serious?
I don't know. He streams like crazy.
I think
oh my God.
Baron said that he streamed Home more times in the last 4 days than he's streamed any single song since 2014.
Jesus Christ!
I don't understand.
Like
it's gotta be like just a switch. You either like love this song or you just meh.
Yeah. And for me, it was meh. But I mean, that's me with Getting Closer. Like I spammed Getting Closer, like listening to this. If I were to spam any of the songs. Yeah.
Okay, let's do our review then, our scores. For me, I gave it a 5 out of 7 for music. Good to Me and Chili were just a little meh, but everything else I liked a lot. So 5 out of 7 there. And then 2 out of 3 for Concept because the choreo and everything was good. I liked the aesthetic of the music video, but nothing blew me away. So I gave it a 7 overall.
Okay, so for my music score, I gave it a 5.5 total, and I wanted to, from now on, I want to break down what my music score entails out of those 7 points. So, two and a half of those points would be for the single. So I did it, and I'd like so between Home and Getting Closer, I gave like 2.5 points out of that. Again, it probably would have been much higher if Getting Closer was the only single. But again, I feel like I was just too lukewarm on Home for it to get any higher of a score than that. But I did give 3 points to the album tracks because again, I did enjoy Good to Me and I enjoyed most of the subunit songs, so I think they did really good on that. And again, it's only 5 tracks, so it's very concise. There's not a lot of, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of like unnecessary songs or like bloat associated with the album. So I loved how like tight they kept the production. Concept I gave 2 out of 3 on because again, as much as I love the choreography of Getting Closer, and the music video for that part, like between that and like Home. Again, nothing really just like blew me away like visually. It is pretty run of the mill in that front. But again, that I still feel like the choreography was probably the strong point of that concept score. So it's a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah. So for me, I feel that I was generous with the music score. I also gave it a 5 out of 7. I just felt like nothing was. Like except for Chili, nothing was awful like that I would like never listen to it like Home. I it's not because I just hate the song, it's just because like I'm just sick of this same style. I want something new. And And honestly, I'd probably blame it on the fact that, like, in, like, summer, like, 2016, they played Closer, like, every 5 freaking seconds.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's, like, it was a song that I was indifferent to, where now I just don't like it.
You hate it?
See, that's why I still enjoy it, because I never even heard that song.
Because you don't expose yourself to music outside of K-pop.
Exactly.
It's just, okay.
Hey,
anyways.
I'm going to see Dream Theater in April.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty cool.
Or, again. I think April, yeah, like early April.
Yeah, but anyways, so yeah, like, despite the songs that I didn't like as much, the ones that I did, I feel, were good enough to raise the score up more. So 5 out of 7 for music. And then for concept, I did 2 out of 3, just because I think everything was done really well and competently, like, especially getting closer, like, the choreography. I thought, like, the fashion, the music video was pretty cool. But, like, and then even Home was pretty cool as well, but nothing was really, like, reinventing the wheel or anything. So I felt I'd give it a solid score there, and yeah, 2 out of 3. So overall, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yep. And then Cooper's notes were, this album didn't reach the heights of You Make My Day, which is one of my favorite 17 albums. The title track Home is really well made. I actually like the anti-drop in it. The music video really sells the song for me, though. Beautiful sets and choreo fill out the song a lot. The B-sides were solid overall. Only Good to Me really blew me away, though. Shh and Chilly are both pretty standard unit songs that have been executed better before by 17. I think this is a good effort, but I hope we get another album from them this year that really impresses me. And he gave a music a 4.5 out of 7, but he gave a concept a 3 out of 3. So he gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
So that's 2 7.5s, 2 7s.
7.25, which rounds up to 7.5.
Okay, so yeah, you'd get a 7.5. So again, that's me on the new scale, obviously. So if you'd add the concept, or if you add the old bias point, that'd be like
yeah,
an 8.
I was thinking that exact same thing when I rated this. I was like, hey, the bias point really was a free point, because I would have given this an 8 before. And now it's
yeah. So that's why it definitely is more reflective of like what we think. And I mean, it seems like my scores definitely seem to like average around the 7 mark. In all honesty, so we'll see. But it's not bad necessarily. It's just I'd like to see what they can do better, at least in terms of the singles. So
Yep.
Topic 2?
Topic 2.
3? 4? What topic is this going to be?
2. We'll just do it back to back.
Okay.
Topic 2. Are we taking a break or something?
No. We're waiting on you to read it out.
We're waiting on someone to announce the topic.
Oh, I see. Yes. Topic 2. We are talking about the brand new, highly anticipated girl group from JYP. Except, are we getting a show or are we not getting a show?
I don't think we're getting a survival show. I think we're getting...
I don't know. Is it a Stray Kids type thing? Well,
I
we haven't even announced the group yet. Who's the group?
ITZY.
ITZY.
Yeah, ITZY. What does ITZY mean?
ITZY-ma.
Like, is it?
Yeah, because it's like something like that. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Exist?
You're the one going to Korea. You should know these things.
Well, like ITA is like...
I was there 6 years ago.
Like, ITA can be like to be, to exist, to... Yeah, it's weird. To have... A ton of things. It's basically like to exist. Like, this thing exists.
Yeah.
I guess
I don't know. I'm not good with Korean yet. I'm a beginner, so...
I guess I'll leave the topic. All right, so we're going to talk about this is the upcoming long rumored, spoiled at this point because we knew who everyone it was in this group.
Yep.
For the longest time, girl group from JYP.
We basically saw them in Stray Kids.
Yeah, we basically saw them like for there's like so many
7
pictures.
members.
Yeah, they had 7 members. I don't know what happened to the rest, but so this is going to be the new JYP girl group. So we're doing this in conjunction with a topic on TXT. These seem to be like the 2 biggest like rookie groups coming out this year. Yeah. So we kind of want to sort of lay out our predictions and our thoughts before they release, and then after they release, we'll see how it changed or if they've sort of aligned with our perceptions of what we think the groups will be. So I guess that's sort of what I wanted to get out of this. So ITZY is a 5-member group, or 5-member group. Their names are Yuna, Ryujin, Chaeryeong, and Leah and Yeji. So I believe Yeji had Was it Yeji that had a different stage name or something? I know somebody went by a different name.
I think it's Leah.
Or Leah, or maybe Leah, that went under a different name prior, or had a different name that they went under when they were a trainee as opposed to their stage name. So, so I guess we can just go and like take our each turn and just like see like what we think about the group, that sort of thing. So Nate, start us off.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, JYP girl group is gonna be good, especially they've been on an upward trend. So I think as a company, so I think obviously it's going to be good. It's nice. We've seen two of these people before, because Ryujin was the top female trainee in Mix 9, and then Chaeryong was...
I totally forgot about that.
16.
Because Mix 9 just doesn't exist in my brain at this point. Like when we were doing doing like best survival show original song and whatnot, I was like, I forgot there's members of Luna in this song. I was like, wait, what? Like I just like pretend Mix 9 doesn't exist.
Ryujin won Mix 9 as a girl group trainee, but she didn't debut because the guy group won or whatever. Not that they debuted either. Yep. And then Chaeryong was on 16, vying for a spot in Twice, but she didn't make it. She was obviously talented, but she was also very young at the time.
Wasn't she like 13 or something like that?
She was pretty young, yeah, like something like that. She was younger than 17. Somi, I think.
Yeah, she's younger than Somi.
Same age as Somi.
She's like 17 now. So yeah, she would have been like 14.
So that was like 14, yeah. So yeah, it was obvious she wasn't gonna get put in the group. But she had the talent, so it's obvious. Or like it was pretty expected that she was gonna be in this group. And we saw them in, like Jacob said, in the Stray Kids show. And she was kind of like their de facto leader. At the time. Ryujin wasn't there though because of Mix 9, I think.
9, yeah.
So I don't know if they've announced who the leader is or any of that stuff.
Who's
so
the
I don't really know.
They're all really
I'm not
young.
sure. I didn't really look into that.
Okay, so Chaeryong is June 5th, 2001. Yeji is May 26th, 2000. Leah is July 21st, 2000. Ryujin is 2001. Eunice, 2003. Jesus Christ.
She is younger than my youngest brother.
I was in like...
I was not my youngest brother, but
Oh my God. I think I was in like 5th grade when she was born. Jesus Christ. I was almost at middle school when this girl was born.
I was in kindergarten.
I was
Jesus
1 year away from...
Jesus Christ.
I was 2 years away from high school.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so but yeah, I like in terms of concept and stuff, it's pretty much exactly what we all wanted, what we all expected
from Twice.
Because no,
it's what we wanted from Twice.
It's what I wanted from Twice from years.
It's what we want from Twice, but we knew Twice wasn't gonna do it. And it was funny actually. I've been catching up on like Idol Room and Weekly Idol and stuff, and for the Stray Kids episode of Idol Room they went to JYP, and they were talking to him for like the first half, and he even mentioned he's like, Twice can't do sexy concepts.
Yeah, they're just
why not?
They're like bad at it.
They're just incapable. They're just really bad at it.
So then why don't we take Momo and have her like transfer Momo into this?
Because what he was saying was like when they were on Idol Room, they were doing like sexy stuff, and said he was surprised by some of the members that were actually able to do it, like Mina.
But I mean, didn't Mina get popular because of like one of her dance like thing?
I think I bet what it is she's probably just embarrassed to do it in front of JYP.
I guess. I mean, who wouldn't be? But
but yeah, so like we all expected this to be like the more Blackpink style, like girl crush and like sexy, maybe like getting into sexy stuff hopefully when they're older, but not right now, please, because one of them is
2003.
Yeah, one of them's like 15.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like we expect them to be like girl crush, like Miki Blackpink style, which is clear what they're doing based on like their styling and
they're coming
the prologue.
They're coming at Blackpink and kind of G Idol as well. They're jugglers.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. 100%.
This is definitely the answer to. Do you think they can compete with both of those groups though?
They can. You know what?
Oh, easy.
If they can blow up like Twice did, Blackpink's done. Sorry, but they're done because
Well,
ITZY's
yeah,
gonna come out with
this
music.
group will actually put out music.
They'll be the same
exactly.
popularity.
Yeah,
and they'll
that's
actually
I can
come out
see.
with music.
Yeah,
That's if they blow up, but like honestly, I think they.
I think they will.
and I feel like because prior to Twice, I don't really. Or now that Twice is popular, it feels like people that because again, Twice is just a group that transcends like the use boy group stand, girl group stand, like traditional notions where there's a lot of people that normally don't listen to girl groups that love Twice.
Yeah.
And now that they have those people's attention with Twice, you have more people that are more likely to be interested in ITZY just because of that fact. And also it's like, oh, maybe. And
yeah.
I feel like most sane people tend to like groups that sound similar in that sort of way, which is why like I know like Nate, for you this was sacrilegious where it was like, oh, 21 versus 4 Minute versus like Soshi or whatever, like it seems like having a similar sound to Blackpink I don't know if it's exactly gonna be similar sound, maybe similar like visual elements, but being in that,
I think mostly visually.
Being in that sort of same space is going to entice people. And obviously, if you're a Blackpink fan and you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs for like fucking like months on end, it's like, hey, why not? Why not just check out ITZY? It's like almost the same. Like
It's funny though because maybe this will be finally the motivation YG needs to actually release music for Blackpink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
he won't.
As far as like ITZY goes, I'm really intrigued because like we've seen the trainees and like what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the members now, but I'm really really excited because I think they're gonna be good.
Yeah,
like, JY, like I think basically like if Twice is like the new generation, like Wonder Girls for example, ITZY is like new like Miss A pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fantastic because Miss A is one of the best groups
Miss
ever.
A so much.
Yeah, super underrated group because again, you don't really hear about Miss A from at least from international fans this day and age.
Yeah, it's more like new fans, in my opinion.
Yeah.
New international fans.
But yeah, and I think they have every reason we have every reason to believe they're going to be successful because, like you said, we get Twice fans will probably look at them even if they won't normally listen to girl groups.
Yep.
They already have two members who have fan bases with Ryujin and Chaedong. And on top of Chaedong having fans from 16, she'll get all of her sister's fans from ITZY.
Oh yeah.
Like me, definitely. Like me, dude. I'm just like Chaedong, so I bias immediately.
That's actually
so
crazy.
Like everyone that liked Chaeyeon on Produce 48 is gonna want to listen to this group because their little sister's in it.
I thought they were twins.
Yeah, the second thing that came up was Chaedong twins. Like,
I thought they were. I didn't realize until like a month ago.
Chaedong's younger. I think by a year.
Yeah, by a year.
She's a year younger.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What website did I land myself?
Nice got7 Tumblr.
But yeah, okay. So oh god, that image is really tiny. I'm trying to find.
Control plus.
I'm trying to find like a good image or like a big image of them. Okay, so yeah, they do. Yeah, they look alike, but
they definitely look similar.
Yeah, again, like now that like again, we haven't seen Chaedong since like 16, so they definitely grew the same. Yeah, but at like if you just take like a quick glance, it's like, whoa, you think that's Chaeyeon. And it's funny. There's a lot of people that didn't like realize it at first, and like Reddit. It was like, "Yo, why does this girl look exactly like Chaeyeon?" Like,
literally your sister.
Did she get plastic surgery to look like Chaeyeon or something? So yeah,
on subreddit, why didn't you watch 16?
Oh,
everyone should watch 16.
That's the crazy. Well, there are some people. Yeah, there are K-pop fans that came in after like Twice debuted.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's plenty of K-pop fans that have come in after Twice.
We've met so many of them too.
Twice debuted.
My mind.
2015.
The Twice debuted, which is like before BTS was getting popular. So like the amount of fans that have grown since then.
But yeah,
Cooper came in after Twice.
Yeah. But I think again, getting back to Chaeyeon, that's actually a really big thing. I feel like where they could use that, or not really as a marketing thing, but like I feel like that's going to be a big draw where people will be interested in seeing like what she's capable of in comparison to Chaeyeon or whatever. So
I'm really excited for what.
Is she a good dancer? I never watched.
She's better than Chaeyeon. She is better than Chaeyeon.
Like that's crazy.
Seriously?
It was definitive. She was better than Chaeyeon.
Oh my god!
So unless somehow YG's training system made her worse, or JYP's training system made her worse than WM's training system made Chaeyeon, then she would have gotten.
Chaeyeon's already a monster, so it's gonna be
like
crazy
there's a reason why she was able to stay in JYP and Chaeyeon wasn't. I think part of it was, I wouldn't be surprised if Chaeyeon was able to stay and she just wanted to leave because she knew that her sister was better than her and she didn't want to be. Yeah, exactly.
That's like the most anime thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, except usually you're living in your older sibling shadow. It's like her younger sibling.
Her younger
it
sibling.
Feels like
it
feels like some Naruto shit or whatever. It's like I needed to test my ability. Sasuke. Oh god.
Yeah.
Insert Sasuke choking me.
Why is that a meme? Why is Sasuke choking a meme now? I don't know why. But anyway.
But yeah, if you watch 16, it's pretty obvious that she was more skilled.
One thing I'm really, really excited to see is what specific genre they end up going with, because I'm wondering if they're gonna go with something more hip hop based or electronic dance or I don't know, let's again, I think the obvious comparison everyone's gonna be making is to how are they gonna stack up against Blackpink, right? So are they gonna be more towards the hip hop stuff, or I guess hip hop EDM, like doo 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 doo, or something like Playing with Fire, or As If It's Your Last. Personally, I prefer the latter, and I hope that's what JYP has in mind, but we'll see. Because JYP, SM, they've both gotten considerably stronger in hip hop. Yeah. So the gap significantly close.
I feel like all
WegG.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Because again, before GOT7 and Stray Kids came around, you didn't really
JYP was known for having really bad.
No disrespect to 2PM, obviously. At one point, J Park was in the group, so they did have confident rap lines. But that wasn't their forte. Same thing with SM. Before even EXO came around.
What are you talking about? Hyoyeon and Tiffany are amazing.
They're the best rappers.
Oh boy. So it really is interesting to see them sort of level the playing field, because that used to be YG's appeal, is that if you love hip hop you'd go to YG, but now you can sort of go to so many different
anywhere.
You can pretty much go to anywhere at this point and just get good amounts of elements of hip hop included in the music.
And you're better off not going to YG because you'll actually get music if you go to the.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. God, why did this turn into shit on YG topic?
Well, it always does.
They do it to themselves.
Yeah, I guess they bring it upon themselves.
We're comparing them to Blackpink, and
it's only natural.
You're gonna get shit on when.
Well, they're gonna be like, "Why are you comparing them to this group?" I was like, "Well, I feel like." This is exactly what they're made for. They're a direct response. 100%.
K-pop does not operate in a bubble. Everyone copies each other. Everyone takes influences from each other. Everyone's trying to match each other in terms of style. They're trying to cover each of the major big three companies are trying to cover all of their bases, because right now Twice Twice has a monopoly on their thing. Blackpink has a monopoly on their thing. So everyone wants to enter or sort of compete in that space, and JYP again is more than capable of competing in that space.
It's just we were saying,
I think this generation, JYP is specifically out for blood on both of the other two.
Which is awesome, because it's boring if they're just trying. Again, I think it's a lot more interesting if they're all trying to go after the same sort of things, as opposed to them just staying in their own lanes. Yep. I don't know. I just find it a lot more interesting, and it pushes each of the companies even further, or wanting to be even more experimental, as opposed to just them being again, okay, we'll only stick with SM will be okay, we'll just do ballad stuff. JYP is okay, we'll just do retro stuff. We'll do hip hop stuff. Again, forcing each of them to go outside of their comfort zones is ultimately going to result in better music. And
definitely,
and again,
competition.
We've seen that with Stray Kids, where again they're good enough to produce their own music. And I don't know if they have the same sort of chops here in ITZY, but that'd be cool. Granted, again, our dream, Nate, your dream is that Sriracha does ITZY's production.
I really hope they do. What if they did the debut? That'd be the most wicked thing.
Yeah, make the debut track. It'd be so good. Sriracha, producer of the year, 2 years in a row.
Well, it's we get a District 9 level hype song.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
The weirdest thing.
What if one of them?
I'm not gonna put this expectation on them.
Rap
It'd be
as
so
fast
crazy.
Yeah,
One
do we
of
know?
them could rap.
Do we know like what the
Like
positions
Changbin.
are? Yeah, obviously Chaeyoung's the main dancer of the group. Like, okay, like obviously like, a lot of these K profile things.
Chaeyoung is the leader.
A lot of these K profile things are usually just like
Okay.
they're just pulling it out of their ass because nobody knows.
Oh yeah, leader,
Yeah,
main
nobody has
dancer,
any
lead
idea.
vocalist, lead rapper. So everything.
Main dancer, lead rapper, vocalist. Is everyone gonna be okay?
Everyone's
main
gonna be
vocalist.
everything.
Okay, so according to this, yeah, Chaeyoung is like everything. Yeji is main dancer, lead rapper, vocalist. Leah is the main vocalist. Yujin is main rapper, lead dancer, vocalist, and center. That could make sense. She's actually really pretty. So, Yuna is maknae, lead dancer, vocalist, visual. Poor girl.
Yeah,
Poor girl. Yo, she's tall. She's tall though. She's 5'7".
Oh god, she's 15 too. She's
Yo,
still growing.
what the heck?
She's another one young.
Yeah, she's
and
another.
Do Young.
Yeah, she's another giant baby.
Young,
yeah.
Oh my god! So that means they must have done some, because I have the picture of like their pre-debut or like the teaser image, and they're all roughly the same height in this. Yeah, so they must have done some like some like box shenanigans to keep them roughly around the same height. But jeez, she's 15 years old and she's almost as tall as I am. That's that. That puts life into perspective. I mean, did you guys? We were gonna go in order, but we just kind of like sort of integrated. But I mean, did you have anything else to say really on?
I think for me, I just had one last thing I wanted to point out. I like the fact that it's just a 5-member girl group because we don't get that very often anymore.
Because I think, it's nice to get. It's nice to get a small number or just like a good medium-sized number as opposed to everyone being like 15 girls.
Well, yeah, exactly. The trend lately has been like 7 plus members in groups.
It's because now that SNSD is kind of tamed down, they want to be the next one.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, Twice
and
has
Twice
pretty much
has
already
that.
taken that, but still,
So-
you know.
But even in like guy groups, it seems like the trend's going upward at more people because of like 17 and stuff.
NCT has how many?
Yeah,
how many members are in
20,
NCT?
23 now or something. I don't know.
Like adding in like the members is from Wish and V, like that are only in Wish and V.
the new members. But yeah, so like it's nice that trend has been pretty much going upward. And I think it's probably starting to stop, or it's going to start stopping and going back to those smaller groups. And I think like Blackpink started that. And
the
this
trend.
Logistically, it's probably easier as opposed to like waiting
definitely.
to like try and
Costs
train
less money.
13 different people.
Well, also the trends in K-pop tend to be pretty reactionary as well. So like making a smaller group might be in reaction to everything else being a large group. Yeah,
Which-
it makes you stand out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it ebbs and flows, much in the same way where cutesy girl groups are in vogue and then fall out of favor for girl crush sexy groups, and then vice versa, that sort of thing, where it definitely is a reactionary type of market. I mean, that's just popular music in general. Just like after a while, everyone gets sick of something. So after a while, people are gonna get sick of like tropical house, or people are gonna get sick of chain smoker drops. Like going back to like the previous topic, like so it's everything's just everything that follows that will be in reaction to the prior, like, or I guess just to contrast what the prior sort of things that were in vogue at the time. So
Yep.
I guess just one further thing for me would be again, I don't know how much money we can put into the music that was playing in the background of the teaser, but I mean, if their music is anything like that, then that wouldn't be bad. Like the music from the teaser kind of reminded me of like Wiki Mickey or something. I don't know. Like that's kind of the impression I got, because maybe it was because it had a guitar in the background, but I don't really necessarily expect them to have like a lot of guitar. I don't expect female Stray Kids here. Like everything just be hard rock.
That'd be so cool.
It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool, and I'm going to be disappointed for the rest of my life because we're never going to get female Stray Kids. But like again, I am a lot more interested in what direction they're going into than I probably would be for any other group that would debut, just because I feel like, again, like I mentioned in TDAs, I feel like JYP has the most interesting stuff to offer, and they've at least it's so far.
Their future is the most promising.
Yeah, and they haven't disappointed in sort of like pushing themselves in that new direction. So again, I feel like, ITZY is probably going to be, they're like at the vanguard of that JYP 2.0 sort of
Yep.
thing. Like they're the first new K-pop group. Obviously, we had the
Yep.
Chinese group, the Chinese boy group, but they've been around for a while, or they've been. I guess they don't really count as much, unfortunately. But yeah, with ITZY again, they're being the first group that's launching under this new mentality is going to be again. It's interesting to see how much it'll help them develop or how much it'll help them grow in comparison to the previous groups at JYP.
So for me, I want to keep my expectations tempered
Yeah,
as far as like what I actually expect from them.
I don't want to
'cause
overhype myself.
I think it's gonna be a surprise no matter what. But I don't know. I do have high expectations for them though, because like we've seen what the members are capable of. We've seen how like they're clearly very talented, and are pretty much the cream of the crop as far as YG or JYP's trainees are at the moment. So again, well I guess they're not trainees anymore, but yeah, like it's definitely super exciting, and I guess we're finally gonna get that I guess like JYP more like edgy concepts back again, because like Miss A's been gone for a few years now, but they hadn't put anything out since 2015 anyway, so it's like almost 4 years.
If we can get a song from ITZY that's on like the same level as like
Hush.
yeah, basically like anything
later on though.
yeah, just like if
Yeah, I
it
would say Hush is too sexy.
Like don't pull a bad girl good girl, because like daily reminder that Susie was like 15 or something in that song.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it still blows my mind that Susie was like, I don't know, like in her like teens when she was like doing all this stuff. But hopefully we won't get that. But another interesting, or I guess maybe it's an open-ended question that we'll answer later in the year, is how will SM's girl group turn out in sort of response to all of the same sort of things that ITZY's responding to? I mean, obviously we don't have to answer that now, but once we get a more clear direction of that group. But again, it'll be interesting because once all three big three of the big three have like their next generation girl groups, that's going to be the interesting comparison between Blackpink, ITZY, and then whatever SM's new girl group is going to be.
YG's girl group has been rumored like 17 billion times, and it just
there's another one I forgot. Yeah.
There's another one after Blackpink.
They're iconing it basically.
He's just moved on from not releasing music to not releasing groups.
I think basically like all we're waiting for after ITZY is basically like, what does SM have? What do they have in their sleeve? Because again, it's been 5 years since Red Velvet. Well, it's going to be this summer, but yeah, it's been 4.5 years since Red Velvet. They're almost due for a new group, so I'm definitely expecting that this year for real.
And topic 3. Now we are going to be reviewing ATEEZ's second mini album, Treasure EP 2, 0 to 1. You might notice we lost Jacob. He had to go home.
It's funny because Jacob's literally here. He's literally here from like at my house from like 8 o'clock at night, and then we leave at like 8 o'clock in the morning almost. So he's here. He's barely here for 12 hours, and he has to come back next week, which is really funny. But
and then 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks after that for Red Velvet. So basically, Jacob's essentially living at my house now.
For weekends, yeah. But yeah, we're recording this right before our live stream for the Truly Daebak Fan Awards. So Jacob had to leave. But yeah, we're reviewing ATEEZ's second EP. And we're starting off with Hala Hala, Hearts Awakened, Live Alive.
At least they actually contextualize what Hala Hala means.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought it just sounds. There's a Filipino drink called halo halo. I don't even know how do I explain. It's like tapioca with like sugar and like I don't know. It's like some sweet syrup. I don't know, some sweet syrup type thing. Muddy Girl probably knows what I'm talking about, but I just keep thinking they're singing halo halo. I'm just like, damn, oh, it's a halo halo now.
Yeah. So yeah, this is not the single, but it did have a performance music video, which is a shortened version of the song. The full song's on the album and Spotify and everything, of course. But for me, I really like the opening, like open sounding beginning. Like it's very open, pulling a Jacob a little bit with like how it feels. But then the build up to the chorus is fantastic. Like we get almost like power metal style vocals from one of them.
I mean, that
leading
kind
up
of
to
just
the
feels
chorus.
like that kind of just feels like ATEEZ in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. They just do that a lot, which is great. And I think the drop is really good because it's not too hard, and there's a great mix of like different sounds going on. Like the first part of it's vocals, and then the second part they repeat the vocals but distort them, which I thought was really cool. The second verse is absolutely amazing with like the really awesome bass line. I kind of wish they included that more.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall I thought the song's amazing. And the choreo is fantastic. And the outfits during the performance video are just ridiculous. They're basically like Final Fantasy cowboy villains.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I don't know what exactly about ATEEZ as a group that they thought, okay, let's do sexy emo cowboys. It's just, I don't know how to explain it other than that, basically. But it works. It's definitely something that's it's a memorable part of this entire comeback, honestly. Because when they first saw the teaser photos, I was like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing with this? Was that all your thoughts, or?
Yep, that's it for me.
So on my end, this is easily my favorite of the album tracks, because again, like you mentioned, incredible drop, and that chorus. The only way I could explain it really is it kind of reminded me of like the do 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 part. It kind of reminded me of like something from like freaking Linkin Park, like back in the early 2000s, like some weird like nu metal type shit, like just really interesting beat, and yeah, it definitely makes it a memorable element that I can remember it like off the top of my head like that. Again, like you mentioned, there's like this feature-based element that they bring into the second verse, which I'm always a fan of more feature-based, so that's never a bad thing to incorporate all the time. But mostly I want to talk about the reason why I wanted to bring up the performance video is just how incredible this choreography is. Not just the choreography, just again, it's just a performance video, but the way because it's letterboxed, so there's like the top and bottom white borders, and I love how they sort of break the border, like they break the top and bottom white borders very often, like where they protrude through the board. I love that effect. There's like, it's like I forget what exactly it's called. It's like a window or a shutter effect or whatever that people do with GIFs, so it looks like it's 3D or something like that. But it's so cool. Yeah. And again, they could have just made like some like half-assed like dance practice or like something where it's just them in a room or whatever. But they really put a lot of thought into that, because remember, the first Treasure episode 1, Treasure was the single, and then Pirate King was the like the supplementary song. But Pirate King felt like almost like a full music video on its own as well. Same thing with this. Like they put a lot of thought into all the supplementary stuff. So I really enjoy that, the attention to detail that they have in this. So
yep. Next we have Say My Name, which is the actual single for the album. And for me, this is a great continuation of their debut. I think it's another amazing single. The instrumentals for this song are fantastic. Like, there's like a great electronic beat, and then it's mixed with this really good acoustic guitar line. I thought those worked really well together. The pre-chorus build-up is just top tier. Like, it's actually something I know Cooper talks a lot about, is like their pre-choruses are just insanely good.
Yeah.
And this is another one that is, I love how it builds in like the end of the pre-chorus. It has like group vocals. Trumpet part during the chorus is great. I originally thought the Say My Name part was a little annoying. I've gotten over it, and I think I enjoy it more now. It's still probably like the weakest part of the song, but I don't think it's bad. The vocal focus on the bridge is amazing. And for the final chorus, they add this like really awesome chiptune synth.
Yeah,
and
that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the whole song. It's so good.
Exactly. And for the music video, I like the aesthetic of like the windows and the glass box, and like there's some like cool stuff they're doing with the aesthetic. But yeah, overall it's another fantastic song from them. Choreo's great too. The part where they walk side to side during the chorus is like really interesting. So yeah, I love it.
Following up on like that visual element, I think the one thing that's sort of, because we didn't cover like Treasure, like episode 1 or whatever. I don't know why we just never got around to it, but I wanted to cover this especially just because I feel ATEEZ is just, there's something about what KQ is doing with this group that I'm able to identify what ATEEZ is or what their visual elements are so easily that basically whenever I read like Pirate King or Treasure or Hala Hala or Say My Name, I'm just like, okay, it resonates with me immediately. Like, okay, this is an ATEEZ music video. Like they have, that's probably the hardest part about any new group where like, oftentimes they fall into the trap of, okay, let's try to carbon copy some really popular group like musically and visually, but with this I can immediately tell it's ATEEZ. Like I can't exactly nail it down what it is. It's probably, I'd say again, it'd probably be their commitment to theming and costuming, because again, if you're thinking about like Treasure and Pirate King, that's got like this very like, I don't know, like Middle Eastern Arabian feel to it, where this is just like some weird like, again, it's weird sexy cowboy sort of thing. So again, I love that they're making that commitment to just sort of theming everything around it. Again, I don't really know what exactly it has to do with the song necessarily, but again, just making those visual elements identifiable, I feel like is what's going to help people. Again, as a new group, they're obviously going to be disadvantaged in comparison to other groups that have the name recognition, but what makes you stick around is if you leave those elements that people will be like, okay, I remember it's that group with the cowboy hats or whatever. Like even if something simple like that it will leave a lasting impression on people. So I feel like that's such an important part, and which is why I'm so in love with all the visual elements of this group. So getting into the actual song, I feel like the reason why we might be starting to come around to ATEEZ is because they sort of fall under the same like super hype boy group category that groups like Monsta X 100%. And like Stray Kids fall under. Again, like we mentioned it in our 17 review. Yeah, where it's just like we have a particular like style of boy group that we tend to gravitate towards, and ATEEZ is that almost 100%. So they just really make good hype trap songs with amazing drops. God, I'm really bad. I know ATEEZ fans are gonna be really mad at this. I don't know anyone's names. I'm sorry, but the guy with the really deep voice is incredible. Like every time they've used it, because they used it on Pirate King, like the ooh that part, and then he's like doing the Say My Name part in this, which is again, that's another element that's it's not something he has such a unique voice, and the way that they're able to utilize it in the choruses that way is again something that leaves a lasting impression. I love how they sort of they layer it a bit to give make it a bit more powerful, and then they add like a tinge of like auto-tune or just like vocal processing to it. Again, you mentioned before the chorus can get a bit tad repetitive, but it's not something that ruins the entire song, mostly because, as you mentioned before, the choreography makes up for it. That part where they're just like slow walking side to side, it ties in well, or it's probably a good idea for them not to have that complicated of a lyrical structure in the chorus so that people can focus on the point dance. That's definitely a conscious decision they made, but like overall, I think I'm just super impressed with KQ and just how much it seems like there's no expenses spared when it comes to everything that they've done so far. Where most studios, they only get one music video. They've gotten 2 music videos with 2 comebacks now. Like the sets aren't just basic sets. They like put a lot of detail into the sets and the outfits or whatever. So like. And that comes through so clear in just how much this label seems to care about ATEEZ doing well, and it's paying off. Like I think all their videos have like 5 million views, they have a lot of views surprisingly for. Again, KQ, you've only really heard of. I think KQ is the main company, and then they have like a bunch of different like sub labels where one of them is 7Cs, which is the one Block B is under, I believe. But yeah, I've never heard of KQ before that. In all honesty, like, did you or?
No, I've never heard of them.
So I'm just super impressed with just how much they seem to be willing to put like put the effort and put the money behind this group, because it's going to pay off. I feel like it's going to pay off, and they might end up being like one of those breakthrough artists of the year, or like really big groups that start to blow up this year. And Jacob, last night we were watching the video, Jacob and I were like, damn, I wish ATEEZ goes to KCON, because they feel like a perfect group that would come to KCON, like really an up and coming boy group that sort of needs the exposure and is sort of appeals to what international fans really like. So I feel like they're that group or they fit that archetype to the T.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Next we have Desire. And for this, the first thing that stood out obviously was the falsetto. It's so good. And on top of that, the glitchy instrumentals, like fit really well. And I like, once again, this is another like more minimalist drop. This one's a lot more minimalist, but it really helps the vocals focus. I know you talked about it in 17. You didn't really like anti-drops. No. So I don't know if you probably don't feel that great about this one either. But I thought it helped the vocals fill out the song. For the rap, the first rap part is fantastic. It's really well executed, and I really like the synth line during it. I like, and then in the ending rap part, it gets a little Changbin like yelly, and I love that. I was like, they're channeling Changbin here and just yelling, and I thought that was good. My favorite part of the song is probably the ending. Like, it's just a really intense instrumental build with them repeating the phrase "I love my desire." Yeah. But just like how intense that instrumental builds was, like, I really, really liked it.
Yeah. So with that bridge part, it kind of reminds you of something like Outrun, Tron, Daft Punk type thing, that do 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 do, like those arpeggios. So. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part of this entire song. So, yeah, like you mentioned, I wasn't as big of a fan of the anti-drop, just because I felt I'd like a bit more cohesion in terms of, like, the verses are kind of more of like a house beat, whereas that that rap verse, that second verse, it brings a bit of that feature bass back into it that we sort of felt in Hala Hala. So again, I like a bit more cohesion in that end, but that being said, it didn't ruin the song entirely for me, just because I felt like it's still a really, really good song, just because I felt like the instrumentals were still solid between the two. And yeah, again, that chorus is still, vocally, it's still good, despite it being an anti-drop. So
yep. Next we have Light. And this is a really good acoustic R&B song. I think the beginning really gives the vocalists time to shine. And I thought this was a good mix of singing and rapping and giving everyone a chance to show off their skills. But I think overall this one probably stood out the least to me. But it's still fantastic. Oh.
Actually, this is probably like second favorite behind Hala Hala, in all honesty. Like, because I really love when boy groups that are known for like hype songs just sort of they incorporate like the ballady element to it, just because it's a nice change of pace, so that you're not just inundated with just hype levels and it just kind of you get numb to it after a while. I like this change of pace often on albums. So it's obviously more of a slow jam, but again, it's a good chance for them to showcase their vocals a lot more than they normally would on singles like Say My Name or Treasure. So I don't know, just this chorus was super addicting to me. Like the way that they harmonized Starlight just was incredible. I like that the biggest trap that a lot of these hype boy groups do is they try, even in their ballady songs, they try to force rap lines, and I like that they didn't try to force the rap line on this, because it felt just fine as it was with just vocals. Like, if in fact the rap line was actually singing in this, and that's a good idea, because you should try. I feel like you should try to incorporate their singing from time to time, like even in like singles. You should, just because again, just having them be too one-dimensional is you make them less versatile, and you just box them in too much into archetypes where, okay, you're only doing raps, where I feel like, especially in boy groups, you should have a bit more versatility to you, so you can sort of explore genre or different styles of sounds like this. So yeah, I really, again, I'm usually the one that gets bored by slow songs like this, but I felt this was incredible, and it showcased that they're more than just like a hype group or whatever. They have actual vocal talent here.
And finally, we have Promise. For this, I thought the main melody for the synths is really good. It's a bit of like a tropical house Latin style beat. So I enjoyed that. And I thought a really interesting part was the piano interlude that cut out the beat.
Yeah.
I thought it helped pace the song because it helped the drop to, like, the build to the drop be way more intense by dropping it to such a quiet level. I think the drop chorus is amazing. The instrumentals give me like a DDR style, like super EDM feel.
Almost like, yeah, it's definitely some type of like European techno type stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just how intense it goes.
Yep. And for this, I thought the rap for the first chorus was amazing. The second chorus they had auto-tune, and so that like dropped it down in my like opinion a little bit, but
it kind of
overall
fits with,
I love the song.
It kind of fits with this style of song, man. Again, usually I'm very averse to auto-tune, but with this kind of thing, like, it definitely fits with the tropical type of vibe. Because there's a lot of tropical house like where they invite like the guest rapper is somebody that just exclusively uses auto-tune for whatever reason. Yeah. Again, normally I hate tropical house, but I feel like what makes this more than your standard sort of K-pop tropical house song is, again, that chorus where I feel a lot of them are too one-dimensional, where there's not really much of an intensity change between verse and chorus, whereas this, obviously, they make it a lot fuller with that dun 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 dun, dun, like that synth in the background just goes really ham. It's more akin to like proper tropical house that comes out of like from European like producers, or like actual like Latin producers. So it feels more like Western style tropical house than that, like the one that's sort of the way that they usually approach it in K-pop. So I like that sort of change, or that sort of unique aspect to it. It definitely seems like a great song that it had choreo or like any type of music video performance too.
Yeah.
So they could easily have made it an additional music video for this, and it'd still be fitting with, I guess, theming. But I think it was a great way to end the mini album. And despite the mini only being 5 tracks, I felt like this was the perfect amount. Like there was there were no unnecessary tracks at all in this, which is very rare, I feel, because you especially with new groups, you're trying to build discography up, so you're very tempted to just be like, okay, let's do like album immediately. But I like this. Just keep it concise. Keep it make all the songs meaningful, so that people won't just be like get bored of you immediately. And I do really appreciate that about ATEEZ. It just seems like they're able to curate it specifically to theme and keep it very much interesting. It doesn't waste your time, and that's something that I think we value a lot at this point, because we're listening to hundreds of albums all the time. So I didn't feel like at all. I did not feel like this album wasted my time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll get to our scores, and we'll read Cooper and Jacob's thoughts for the album. For me, overall, I gave it a 6.5 out of 7 for music. I thought everything was fantastic. There's just a couple small things here and there that stopped me from giving it a full 7 out of 7. I think Light needed to blow me away a little bit more, and that would probably put it at a 7 out of 7 for me. But then I gave it a 3 out of 3 for concept, because I thought the choreo is fantastic, the styling's fantastic, the aesthetic, the music video is fantastic. So yeah, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Easily a very fantastic album.
I think it's just the reason why I ended up enjoying this album so much is because I didn't have that many that much expectation for ATEEZ at all. Again, we mentioned it before. We're just like, oh, KQ Fellows. I believe we covered them on releases list, and it was really interesting. But it felt like it wasn't really interesting. But it felt like they brought it to a completely different level once they debuted them as ATEEZ. So that being said. My music score is a 6 out of 7, with 3 points going to the single and 3 points going to the album tracks. Again, I really loved the single. I really loved the album tracks. I felt like every one of them was captivating. And again, like I mentioned before, it didn't waste my time. I felt like I could listen to all of these tracks. Like usually I only like pick and choose whatever favorites of mine when I go back to albums or just keep it in my running K-pop playlist. But I feel like all of these tracks I can keep and listen to and enjoy repeatedly, and that's something that's very rare for me. Like I usually only just end up picking a title track and then maybe 1 or 2 album tracks, but like that's how standout this is for me. And I'm giving a full 3 points to the concept score because again, being able to nail down what you are at this stage in the group's like lifespan is very impressive. And I feel like if they're able to like develop this, there's a chance that they blow up. There's a really big chance that ATEEZ blows up, in all honesty, just because not many Nugus are getting like 4 or 5 million views just right out the gate. I feel like that's huge. And I feel there's potential for them to grow a fan base there, and I'm really excited to see what they put out for the rest of the year, because they're probably going to release something like later. They're probably going to release another mini album or 2. So I'd be really excited to go see this group in Korea or at KCON or whatever. I feel like
they're coming to the US next month or in March.
When?
So,
really?
You didn't see that? They announced a couple days ago. Like yesterday or 2 days ago. They're already doing a US tour.
Wait.
It was like Dallas, LA, New York, Chicago.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go see them. They're so good.
Yeah. I know the Chicago date was like March 15th. It was the same day Sunmi is in Toronto.
Okay.
So I probably won't go. I don't even know if I'm going to Sunmi, but I probably go to Sunmi over ATEEZ. Mostly because it's at Sunmi's in Toronto and they're in Chicago, so it's half the distance.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to either, but yeah, there is one. So you could go see them in March if you want.
Oh, I'm going to go see them because I feel like, again, the biggest draw for me is that performance aspect where I feel like they give you your money's worth if you go see it in person. So yeah, overall, that's a 9 out of 10 for me, and I did not expect to give that high of a score to them, in all honesty, just because I felt like they were off my radar for so long, and then bam, just...
Yeah.
It's a really, really great way to start off the year for them. Like, early contender for Best Mini Album of the Year, early contender for, like, Best Boy Group, or, yeah, like, I'm just really impressed with ATEEZ so far, so. What were Jacob's notes?
Yeah. Just a sec, I was trying to find the tour, dates for you. They will be in New York March 24th.
March 24th. I'll try to get there then.
Okay. Jacob's thoughts on this album. He said, this EP serves as an excellent follow-up to ATEEZ's debut album. They've at this point shown to me that they're certainly a rookie worth paying attention to in anticipation for whatever they come out with in the future. Onto the actual album, they surprised me with some hype dance tracks in the vein of the groups we already know and love, like Monsta X and Stray Kids. But that's not meant to chain them to that comparison necessarily, because they have a distinct sound in their own right, which is especially evident in the title track of the EP, Say My Name. With the strength of the more hard-hitting first 2 tracks, we are also met with similar quality in the slightly less hype and softer B-sides. Every song on the EP was good and stands well on its own. I also would like to give a shout-out to the performance video for Hala Hala. They play around a lot with some really cool visual effects, which Andrew talked about. And he gave the music a 6 out of 7 and the concept a 3 out of 3, overall a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Cooper was similar in his praise for this, so he said... Cooper, quote, ATEEZ, y'all, they are really something else. The Texans coming out of Cooper right now. Though granted, I use y'all as well, but I'm not Texan. Their debut was near perfect, and this first comeback is just as good. The title track, Say My Name, is a great follow-up to the Pirate King and Treasure. Their pre-chorus build-ups are fantastically done. The MV for it is pretty standard boy group sets, with what is with all the glass boxes of emotion. But I really like the almost Westworld feel to it. Okay, that's a good way to explain it, like just weird futuristic cowboy type stuff. The choreo is really amazing, which is no surprise considering Pirate King was one of my favorite choreographies of last year. The dog walk move is iconic already. Holla Holla, the subtitle track, is also great and an epic song. The B-sides, I think, are even better than their first album. Desire, particularly, is so dark and epic, especially the ending. What I love about ATEEZ so much is how epic their songs feel. Their vocals are so powerful and upfront, a way I hardly hear in K-pop. The rap line is amazing, too, and Mingi and Hongjun kill it every time. Also, shout out to Aubrey for introducing me to ATEEZ. I am a stan for life now. So he gave a 7 out of 7 full marks for music and a 2.5 out of 3 for concept, which adds up to a 9.5 out of 10. So, doing all the so it round up to a 9.5 out of 10, which is that's our highest mark of the year so far. That's just overall. So that's
deserving.
Oh, definitely deserving. It gets the shiny.
Oh yeah, because what did A-Pink get, a 9 overall?
Yeah, I brought it down because I gave it a 7.5.
That's right.
But I was just way more impressed. Again, I feel like with A-Pink, as much as I love, like, I felt like there was too much unnecessary excess on that. Whereas I feel like this is as close to perfect as you can get, where no track feels wasted. So I feel like that's why I gave it as high of a score I did, despite using the lower end of the spectrum now. So, as always, leave us your thoughts on ATEEZ and Say My Name and the rest of the songs in the comments below, whether you liked it. Who should my bias be? Somebody could tell me the name of the guy with the deep voice, because that's probably going to be my bias. I guess I'll see everyone at the concert in March.
Stop doing horrible mullets in K-pop.
No, the mullet looks so good. No. What are you talking about?
No, mullets never look good. There's no such thing as a good-looking mullet.
Hashtag more mullets. Hashtag more mullets. I guess that'll take us into topic 4.
Yep.
Okay, so this is sort of the paired topic with our pre-debut expectations and just pre-debut discussion of ITZY, where now we'll be discussing the just our thoughts and expectations of big hits first boy group after BTS, which is entitled TXT, or Tomorrow X Together, or Tomorrow Be Together.
It was Bye Together. Tomorrow Bye Together.
So why are they TBT? Throwback Thursday, maybe. But
X, I don't know, because X's are cooler.
X's are cooler. So, Monsta X would probably not be as cool if their group was just called Monsta.
Yeah, exactly.
So they are a 5-member group. The members are named. It's like Yeonjun, Subin, Hyunin Kai, Taehyun, and Bumju. I didn't really end up looking much on each of the members except for Hyunin Kai, because his background is incredible. So, he's born in Brazil to an American father and a Korean mother. His American father is of German descent, which I don't know how they got in Brazil, but there are a lot of Brazilian Germans, so maybe he just lived in Brazil. He grew up in China, and he knows Portuguese, English, Chinese, and Korean. That's insane. Like, that is... they basically covered, every major K-pop market, right with this one guy right here.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the Brazilian fans, you get the Chinese fans, you get the American fans, you get the Korean... they're set for life.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do anything else. He knows every language. So, I feel like he's probably, the biggest asset in that term, in that sort of way.
Yeah, he'll definitely be their main asset when they're, traveling abroad and stuff.
And that's actually good that they have a native English speaker.
Yeah.
No disrespect to RM, but like it's if they're with how Big Hit tends to promote, I feel like they'll want to promote them at some point overseas. So
definitely, yeah.
It'll be good to have like someone that speaks that many languages. So, like I said, 5-member group. It's their first. I mean, Big Hit has had groups prior to this. I mean, does really count as a boy group? Like. Not really, I guess. They did more like ballads. Yeah, because like BTS, I guess, would be their first proper boy group, but they also had Glam, which is a girl group. So
Rip.
This is their third like idol.
Glam.
This is like their third like major idol group that that I know of. So I'd say that's probably the most interesting part. So like we could start off there. Like, what do you think? What do you think that your outlook will be for this group having to not necessarily live in the shadow of BTS, but sort of having to follow up on that. Yeah, that's probably the most interesting part of this discussion right now.
I think based on the teaser, Big Hit's doing a good job differentiating them. It's very clear that they're going to be doing a different style of music than BTS. Like, it was very fun, lighthearted. It seems like they're going to be more poppy, and more like I don't know how far it'll go, but more like Golden Child or like some of the more like cutesy young, because they're all pretty young, right?
Yeah, they're all like 1999, 2000, 2001, I think.
Okay, so yeah, but yeah, it seems like they're gonna be more innocent, like cute type music, which I think is a good idea, because if they just followed up BTS with another BTS, it wouldn't work.
It would not work, because I'd say the major contention is how they have to do an interesting balancing act where they have to entice enough ARMY to be interested in checking out the group, but they can't just make it a BTS clone, because it'll piss off people, and it just won't be as interesting if it's just another group doing BTS style music.
And then you're splitting your fan, like it just wouldn't work at all. They needed to do something different. So I'm glad they are. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much they pull in from ARMY if they're this different, and the fact that I feel like at this point ARMY doesn't care about BTS's music at all.
They just care about BTS the group.
They just care about BTS the group. Yeah. So like, are they gonna jump to their little brother group just because they're the little brother group and not care about the music? Are they gonna not jump because they're too obsessed with BTS? So it'll be interesting to see. It's weird because I want them to be successful. I want every group to be successul, but I don't want ARMY to.
You don't want ARMY cancer
be involved. It's just nobody needs that. No group needs a fandom like that, to be honest. You want a huge fandom, but you don't want a huge fandom that's as toxic as ARMY.
Yeah, you don't want the fandom to reach to a point where it's just actively driving people away from getting into the group, which I feel is it's an unavoidable situation, obviously, with BTS being arguably the most popular group in all of K-pop. So I'd say the interesting thing is, in terms of ARMY, is there's the rational portion of it. I feel like they'll willingly embrace the group despite the difference in music, just because they want to see Big Hit succeed. And I want to see Big Hit succeed too, because I feel like they can give everyone, even Big Three are learning from how Big Hit is operating with how they're running BTS, and hopefully with how they'll run TXT. I am obviously worried about that section of ARMY that's going to think that because TXT is getting a lot of promotion and maybe they'll get a lot of fame, that it's actively taking away from BTS's promotion and BTS's fame, which is stupid. But the right way mindset for this is because BTS can't put out music like 365 days a year. Like that's again. They mentioned
touring. And
they mentioned at Mama that they almost broke up last year just because of the workload that it's incredible. And I hope TXT doesn't put through that workload, because you need to be a special type of a person to be able to be willing to put yourself through multiple world tours, albums, solo projects, like TV appearances, CFs. Like that workload's insane. Like I feel like And I feel like they should focus them on Korea first. Like, they can't, I don't think they could be like, hey, this is BTS's brother group, let's send them to, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. Like I don't think it'll work that way. I don't think they'd succeed that way, just because I feel
No, not at all.
there isn't enough of a foothold for BTS as it is in the US. So just launching some unknown group whatsoever that with no word of mouth, it would just be a nightmare. So they really, I feel like they need a proper like growth period in that. Get them popular in Korea first, focus on that, and then if they're popular enough, send them to the US and the rest of the world. Like you can't just expect BTS is the exception to the rule, where normally if you have no Korean fan base, you're a dead group, whereas obviously BTS was the reverse, where they didn't garner a Korean fan base until like the international fan base essentially started putting them on the map. So I feel like that's what. Also, the style of music that they make might not necessarily. It's not really some like hype hip hop boy group type thing. At least the impression I get. Yeah, so I don't think it necessarily appeal as much to international fans. That's why this is all speculation, obviously, but it's going to be very interesting to see how, when you see what groups get popular in the US, it's like NCT, BTS, Big Bang, like EXO. It's that specific type of like boy
Monsta
group,
X.
Monsta X, like 17, GOT7, like they're none of that. At least from what I feel, from what I see, from obviously you can't put too much into like the music from the teasers, but the vibe I get from them is that they're nothing like that. If anything, if I were to make comparisons, like you mentioned, Golden Child, and also I'd think like Very Very or Astro, or even a band like N Flying, like they're a lot more upbeat, like happy-go-lucky type thing. Which again, you need that. You can't have them be BTS. So. Again, it'll be interesting to see whenever Big Hit does decide to pull the trigger and let them promote internationally, whether they'll show up at KCON or or when they'll actually start releasing music. Because Big Hit loves teasing stuff like months in advance or whatever. So, I guess just the other talking points would be like, do you think Big Hit will succeed with this style of song? Because again, all we really know for Big Hit, or all we know what they like to produce, is just hip hop. So, do you think that they could succeed in going in that different direction with a boy group?
I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know.
It'll be specific, or like it'll be dependent on their producers and stuff. I mean, obviously they'll have the budget with BTS's money, like they'll have the driving power behind it, but whether they can do that type of music well is different, because like you said, it doesn't appeal to as many people. I think it probably appeals to more people in Korea than like BTS and everything, but overall, like for international fans, it doesn't. So it'd be interesting if they do it right, and they can attract the Korean fan base they need to start off. But it's so hard to tell without any basis, like on them doing that type of music, what will happen.
Yeah, that is true, because like if you see a lot of groups, like I don't know, like maybe like Golden Child or whatever, they might not find as big, or Astro to some degree, might not find as big of an American fan base or European, South American fan base, but that's still a popular sort of boy group archetype in Korea. So you're right that I feel like it'd be a good idea for them to sort of focus on that market at first. So. Yeah, I really just hope that I'm just hoping that it's not a mess, but I can't help but feel like it might be a mess just because it's gonna just be a bloodbath. I feel it might be just between like the internet fandoms, and just like, oh, why are you stealing like resources or that sort of thing. But I'm just hoping that most people will be rational about it and support them. If they have good music.
Yeah, I think overall it'll be fine, because I think the most toxic army will just stick with fighting for BTS and won't care about them at all. And then the more like chill army will probably go support them. So yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad. I just if anything, I think I'm worried about like what type of music they put out
Yeah.
and how good it is.
Yeah,
because I think right now that style of boy group is pretty saturated, and obviously Big Hit can do something new and interesting with it, then it'll be amazing because like I said, they'll have the money to put behind it. But if they're just doing what all these other groups are already doing, I don't know if it'll be like, just because they're BTS's little brother group doesn't mean they'll get more, like, that we should pay attention to them even if their music's crap. Like,
well, and I think just
they need to stand out.
The baseline expectation is don't ever expect this group to be as big as BTS, because that's just way too much. That's too high of an expectation for them to ever fulfill. So you have to set, have to set those. Yeah, you need to be more realistic with those expectations. But I'd say Big Hit being that factor in the way that they run BTS so differently, or the way that they promote them, or the way that they make the music for them more different than conventional groups, is why I'm interested in seeing what new twist or what new aspects can they bring to like this sort of like innocent boy group, quote unquote, style that we haven't seen before. And if they can pull that off, I feel they would have a chance at success. So so what are your thoughts on TXT? Are you gonna stand them? Are you not going to care all too much? It's not interesting to you. What do you think their music will be like? Let us know in the comments below, and just let us know if you're hyped about it. If you want to see them in KCON, that sort of thing. Like, I don't think they go out. I don't think they'd leave like that soon. Honestly, I think they would really need to focus on the Korean fan base. I feel.
Yeah, I could see them doing like just like a one-off thing like KCON. I don't see them doing like a tour or anything.
They open for BTS. They're like, okay, you get stuck with the BTS touring schedule. You have to do 3 world tours. They would be dead. Oh no, poor boys. Yeah, they can't do that. But I'd say overall, I'm actually excited. I'm very intrigued by what they have to offer.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're gonna close out the show. Jacob's not here, so I guess we'll do it. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to us if you haven't already. Comment, like, do all that thing. Join Mucho Lit Discord. It's great. We do a lot of fun stuff in there, like song ratings, where we yell at each other for thinking our tastes are horrible. Each other's tastes are horrible, which they are.
I still haven't done a song rating yet. I need to. Now
you can get in on the 2014 to 2018 girl groups is next, I think.
Oh boy, I'd have a lot of spicy opinions on that. So yeah, that's actually a really fun thing. We do other stuff with other. In the UFC /MMA sports chat, we do predictions, that sort of thing, for cards. We talk about video games. We're gonna start doing next week. We should do when Jacob's here. We should do a live stream or something, maybe on because he's gonna be here for the whole weekend until like Monday, because he's gonna stay and watch the Super Bowl at my house. So I'm thinking maybe that Saturday we could do like Jackbox Party Pack or something like that, just something fun with like the community. So
and I was thinking one thing, because we were talking about it, since Discord has a voice channel feature. I was like, we could use that to like take call-ins. So I was thinking maybe when we do the Red Velvet, like when we're there for Red Velvet, the episode can just, after we're done talking about Red Velvet, we can just like chat with people on Discord.
You're calling into DaebakCast Live. Who are you call? There's a lot of podcasts actually do that, like the tradition, because podcasts grew out of like radio shows essentially.
Yeah, radio shows.
Yeah, so that'd actually be a really cool thing. So yeah, obviously let us know all your thoughts on that, what you want to see in the comments, or reach us at Twitter at TrulyDaebak. Reach us on Discord, obviously. As for upcoming schedule, sometime over the next week or so, we're going to be reviewing ITZY's Suki no Iwasetai single album, which is their don't get it stuck in my head, please. It's already addicting. yeah, that's their debut Japanese single album. We'll review it. We may have a collaboration in the works with 48 Talk, but we'll have to work out that scheduling. LunaCast is again TM whenever they decide to stop dropping teasers and actually release music, then maybe we'll end up reviewing it.
I haven't been paying attention to them at all.
I don't watch
at this
teasers.
Point,
so.
I just want, just give me the song.
Yeah, I was talking to DJ after class this week. It was just like I gave up on Luna lore a long time ago, but in Discord you can obviously talk about Luna lore in our Luna chat.
Yeah, lots of orbits in there.
Yeah, our chat is our Discord's like 1/3 orbits, I feel. So
now it's Flovers are taking over.
Oh yeah, Flovers.
So
are
many
taking
Flovers. Over. I mean, most of them are both, but
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. There's a lot. Most everyone seems to be multi-stan, so it's just enjoyable. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like Discord's the best part of this sort of thing. So if you've been a long time listener, a long time viewer of DaebakCast, and you really want to engage yourself with us and with other people that enjoy the show, definitely please we make it a joke where it's mucho lit, but Discord's like the best time of your life easily, just because of the random shit that goes on in Discord that we can't even explain. So that's all I got in terms of upcoming events outside of like Red Velvet in February. So
take
Red
it
Velvet
out in February, Tiffany in March, and then ATEEZ possibly in March for Andrew. So that's it for episode 106, and we will see you later. Annyeong.
Stay tomorrow by together.
Throbbingly tomorrow by together.
Their fan club name should be SNS, because you know how it's TXT.
No.
You can that's free. That's free, Big Hit. You can totally take that.
The winner is, drumroll, The Boots by Gugura.
Woo!
I don't know how this
wrecked.
I don't know how this won.
This one because Cooper is an intellectual. He knew what was going on. No, but seriously, I know a lot of people are gonna think Pop Stars should win, and
yes,
I